Most people trying to get B2B clients are just guessing, posting on LinkedIn and hoping somebody reaches out to them, and running ads that they can't afford. I'm going to be showing you my exact process on how I go about booking meetings with strangers consistently in any niche on demand. We use this exact process at my agency and it literally works for any niche that you're trying to go into. I'm going to be showing you my exact end-to-end process with literally no fluff. So if you're an agency, a freelancer, or a B2B founder, this video is for you. Without further ado, let's jump straight into the video. All right, so the first thing is basically picking your niche. And I use this framework. It's called demand capture versus demand generation. Okay, the two main differences, you really have to think about this when you're targeting a niche. It's basically when I target this niche specifically for cold email, if I'm trying to get someone results, are they demand capture or demand generation? Okay. Demand capture is basically people who already know they have a problem and are actively searching for that solution. Okay. So basically, an example of this would be, say I'm reaching out to a done-for-you staffing and recruiting firm. Okay. They basically act in there as like an agency type of style to recruit for the service or the business that they're trying to reach. Okay. It's going to be a lot harder for me to get that client results. And that's something that I had to realize early on because their ICP, their market is super small because they're basically targeting people who already have that problem and are actively searching for that solution. So there's a time where you can get that client results, but it's not going to be all the time and it's going to be a lot harder. Right? Versus demand generation, people who have that problem but aren't currently actively looking yet. Let's say I'm doing cold email and I'm trying to reach out to marketing agencies. These clients are going to be super easy to get results for because marketing agencies can market for literally any single business. So I can pull up a list of thousands of leads and send out emails to every single business because marketing is such a huge, broad niche. But when it comes to something like this, there's going to be a time and a place, and it only works for specific businesses. Okay, so that's the main thing that I think about when I'm actually going to target these types of businesses is demand capture versus demand generation. Obviously, you want a business that's going to be doing demand generation, so it's way easier to get them results. And this is exactly why most B2B businesses stay stuck. They obviously just post on LinkedIn, hope someone sees it, wait for referrals, and react to outbound. The active strategy with cold email is you pick the target, you control the volume, you generate outbound, and you decide the timing. At the end of the day, cold email is just demand generation. You're not waiting for them to find you. You have to go find them. You decide the niche that you want to go into, the volume, the timing. The goal isn't to close everyone on one singular email. It's basically to open the door, get your foot in the door with the client. You want to plant the seed at scale instead of waiting for fruit to fall. You want to go get that fruit for yourself. Okay. That's basically my exact process when I'm thinking about who I want to target is the results that I can get them and how fast can I get these clients results. So a good example of demand capture versus demand generation would be an office supply business. If you think about it, their ideal market, their ICP is basically any business. They can sell it to them at any time. It's office supply. So they have a really broad market and it's a lot easier to get them results. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be using for this example. Obviously just use this for whatever fits best. So the first thing I do is when it comes to email status, this is the very first thing I do. So I click on this tab and I make sure that all the emails are verified. I also turn off include catch-all emails. Okay. After I do that, then I do the target location, which is going to be, for me specifically, it's going to be United States. Then I'll do the job title. So this is something that you really have to think about as well. You want to target the decision makers in the company because you don't want a longer sales process. You want to target the people who are actively making the decision in the company, so it's going to be a lot easier. Okay. And examples of these would be owner, founder, CEO, and president. And then what we want to do is we want to go industry and keywords. So if you really want to laser target industry, right, you have to filter these out based on your ICP. Okay. For me, the industry is business supplies and equipment, and then printing. And then the keywords I'm looking for is office supplies, and promotional products. Okay. Now, after I have a targeted industry, I want to filter down by employees. Obviously, I'm not going to want to target a company who has hundreds of thousands of employees, because I'm probably not going to be able to reach the decision makers that I want, for one, and for two, they probably already have a sales cycle in process. Okay, so I'm going to target 1 to 50 employees, and then I already went over the job titles. That's going to be basically it. That's going to be pretty much it. Then after that, what you want to do to verify your search is you want to click on these, and then you want to go to their website. So we're going to the website now. I'm checking out this. So this is like a terrible website. So something that I can keep in mind for my copy is I can use a free resource such as I built this custom demo website for you, basically giving it away for free. So then after that, I have my foot in the door and I can lead them to my main core offer, which is done for you cold email. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind when you're checking through their websites. And then we are going to go to Leads. I used to use Appify, I don't anymore. The reason why I don't use Appify is because they basically scrape from their own database, if that makes sense. So that's something that we've realized in our agency. We were not getting the best quality of leads, so we switched to Leads. So we'll go over to Leads here. Paste this link from Apollo in here. And then that's going to be your scrape. And then you want to obviously name the scrape. So for this one, we're going to do office supply scrape. And then we want the amount of leads that we want to scrape. For me, it would be 5,000. Now, I'm not going to scrape these leads right now, just because I've already done so, as you've seen here, and it's still queued. So basically, once you scrape those, it's going to be queued for a little bit. This is basically just going out there and getting the leads for you, scraping the leads for you. After it's done, though, what you want to do, this is an example of an already done one. You want to click export, and then you want to download this as a CSV. Okay. Now, once you download this as a CSV, now we are going to go over to Clay to verify, make it maybe even more personable to the prospect, and clean all of our data. So let's jump over to Clay. Okay. As you see now, we are on Clay. This one's for service-based businesses, just to use this as an example, but this is exactly what I do. First, I validate all the emails, make sure that they are all valid emails. And say for this example, if it isn't an invalid, if it comes out as invalid email, what I do here is I click this, because this is only going to output if it is a valid email. Okay. So I'm going to click this right here, and then I'm going to put a filter on this column. And then I'm going to go is not empty. Okay. And that's basically going to filter out all the bad emails, so we're not wasting credits. Okay. The next step that I'm going to do is I'm going to normalize the company names, which I've already done so right here. But basically the process is super simple. I have columns hidden, so I'm going to show all the columns. So this is basically my exact process. I come over here. These are the company names. What you want to do is you want to click this. You want to add a column. You want to add enrichment. And then you want to search up normalize. I used to do this with the GPT, but this way is a lot easier and it's a lot cheaper. Okay, then it's going to output just like this right here. And as you see, it still adds a little bit of things. It really didn't normalize that much. It really just kind of removed the LLC. So to go to one step further, what I do again is I add a formula column. And this is the prompt that I gave it, basically. Let me see if I could show you guys the prompt that I gave it. Basically, you could just do it by yourself with the formula. It's coming out as a code for some reason, but basically you just tell it, make it into like one name to make it more personalized, and you don't sound like a robot. Okay, so JAMA Professional Cleaning Solutions is just JAMA now. Angel Falls Services is just Angel Falls. Okay, I don't use this anymore, so we're gonna hide that, and then obviously I'll hide all the rest. But that's essentially what I do when I'm ripping out a super big list. So after that, after you clean all your data, you can obviously add a bunch of personalizations as well. You can confirm your ICP with this agent. You can even add another GPT to make first line personalizations. For me, I like to really just focus on my copy and my offer, which we're going to jump into next. But after that, you want to press tools, you want to press sources, and then import from CSV, or exports actually, and you want to download this to the CSV. You guys can't even see this yet. So It's weird. Let me see. There we go. You want to click exports, download from CSV here, and then you're going to download that as a CSV and then upload it into your sequencer. So we'll go all the way back up to the top when I'm building this. And this is exactly what I do. So this is a GPT based off Alex Hermosi's $100 million offer. Okay, so we're going to type something like this. Let's go all the way to the bottom now. And then we're going to type something like this. Okay. I am a cold email deal generation agency. I help my clients get deals through done for you cold email. I want to just give it as much context as possible. And then you can also create a front end offer as well. So we're going to submit that. And then it's obviously going to ask you a couple questions to make it more tailored. But this is my exact process on how I go about making my copy and making my offer. Okay, not my copy, I meant my offer. Okay. Office supplies company. So it has like obviously past information, but it's basically going to ask you all these questions. Once it asks you all these questions, you're going to build the offer and basically just ask you a bunch of questions. If you guys want this GPT, just comment down below and I'll send it directly to you completely for free. But other than that, that's exactly how I go about building my offer. Now that we got our offer built, what we are going to do is we're going to go over to Smartlead and upload the CSV, or it might be different for you. That's just a sequencer that I use. So we're going to go over to Smartlead, upload the CSV, and we're going to get this campaign up and running. Okay, as you see here, we are now on Smartlead. So basically, you're going to click that at the top right here. You guys can't see it, but on your screen, you're basically going to click the CSV that you downloaded and then just drag and drop it in here. Okay, once that's good, you want to press continue. And then you're going to move over to sequences. Okay, so this is basically the exact copy that I kind of built out with the GPT, but you want to build out your copy. Just build everything out, and then you can create follow-up sequences like that. Basically, what you do to that is just click add step. It's going to be up here at first. Click add step, and then you can create a follow-up email as well. Okay, then you want to go to the setup. Choose all your sender accounts. You want to schedule the campaign and then optimize your campaign settings. What I like to do is prioritize 80% new leads and then 20% follow-ups. And then the final review here, this is what essentially it's going to look like. So what you want to do is you want to click run spam test, and then you want to send a test email. And then after everything checks out on your end, you're going to want to schedule the campaign. I'm 20 years old running this agency in real time, and this is the exact process that I use every single time I go and set up a new campaign. If you want to follow along the journey, press subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.